TV Burp. Dawn has shocking news for Jay on EastEnders.
Okay, I might not be your dad.
World's worst hide-and-seeker on the Palace.
Found you.
And Snake does Glastonbury on Life in Cold Blood. Yay! What time the Kaiser Chiefs on? Jamie Oliver had some very sound advice for us this week from his kitchen.
Straight in there. Be quite quick. Always dip away from you and plop away from you.
I always try, but it's not always that easy to control. This week, Jamie was concentrating on the brassicas.
For instance, this cauliflower here, look at the colour of that.
Yeah, it's the wrong colour. It's purple. Cauliflowers are white. Although, admittedly, a purple one would be easier to spot in my mum's cheese sauce. It seemed Jamie was going all eco-friendly. Instead of actually cooking the food, he was saving energy by just doing the sound effects.
And then the Italians have a version which they call rape, which is fantastic. And they'll cook it in a big pan of just a little bit of pork fat, maybe. You know what you do? You get a little bit of good vinegar and you splash it in there.
Yeah, I'll do the sound effects of my cooking from Tuesday night. Yeah. Pop, 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 Cold. Earthquake. Those weren't the only sound effects Jamie was doing. It seemed to me he was practicing up to be a rapper, like on the records.
Smoky bacon, chunks of apple and raisins and swigs of red wine vinegar and do that beautiful red cabbage dish.
Yeah. We put together a little number for him that we call the Jamie Rap.
Smoky bacon, chunks of apple and raisins and swigs of red wine vinegar and do that beautiful red cabbage dish. I want to cook it down. I want to cook it down. I want to cook it down. I want to cook it Look, taste.
Banging. Yeah, the Jamie Rap. If the young folks get behind it, it could sweep the funky house scene. Well, with the celery season upon us, Jamie was getting very excited by a particular part of the celery.
It's actually this part here. That is what anyone that knows and understands cooking gets excited about. That bit here.
Yeah. See, I get very excited about that bit.
The real hero of this dish is the cabbages in the garden. So I want to go and pick some of those beautiful spring cabbages, and then I'll come back and finish this whole dish off.
OK, Jamie. Yeah. Just wait for him to come back. Actually, I'll...
Right, got some lovely cabbages. So what I'm going to do is just trim this all up. And this spring cabbage here, just cut the stalk off. Like that.
A bit naughty, just a bit of fun. Oh, that reminds me, it's about this time that I pull on this invisible thread, which is attached to Tanya off EastEnders' thumb 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Need to know what's going on, don't I?
Yes, EastEnders. And I was disgusted to see Christian relieve himself in the kitchen sink.
You still think that they're giving us a freebie? Okay, I've got a salt and there.
You know, with the success of Cell Block H, the musical, I was thrilled to see rehearsals get underway for EastEnders, the musical.
We've got something to tell you.
Whatever it is, I don't want to know.
Max cheated on Tanya with Stacy, breaking his son's heart, losing the respect of everyone on the square. Oh, it was a jolly EastEnders this week. I tell you, it was nice to see Jay and Dawn having a little fun. Playing that game, run around the room, turning the lights on and off. Come on, Dawn, let's have a go. Oh, brilliant fun, that. All right, Dawn, a joke's a joke. I sometimes wonder whether EastEnders should come with some sort of parental warning. I mean, some of the images. It's too much. Ian Beale in a pair of black pants. Now, I wonder what it'd be like if you got married to yourself. A bit like that, I suppose. Of course not. This was the winner of Ladette to Lady. And it's been a long journey for the Ladettes. They've learnt a lot.
The girls must each make an arrangement for the graduation ceremony. And Holly is already struggling with the names of certain flowers.
What does it start with? I might get it.
L.
Lilies. No, I'm joking. Lithuanias.
Yeah. We've got a bunch of Lithuanians in our garden. Oh, they do smell nice. So it came time for the debriefing and an interview with Mrs. Harbord. Glamour model Louise came in for a bit of a dressing down over her topless work.
Even if I was to continue the modelling, it doesn't last forever, and I've realised that I do have to get some qualifications.
This needs to go back to its owner.
Let's close that.
That's a start.
I was wondering when that got to. Keeps them all nice and neat. Her work done for the day, Mrs. Harbord then took her two other hairstyles out for a walk. And so to the big day, and the winner was Nicole. But the others didn't go home empty-handed. No, they got a specially printed certificate.
All three finalists received their diplomas for what they've achieved at Eggleston Hall.
Thank you, Mrs. Hopkins.
Holly, this is to say that you are a lady from Eggleston Hall.
Thank you so much.
Word processing. Click. Ladette to Lady. Certificate. Click. And print. There we are. I've got one too. But I didn't do the course. Which brings us to our TV highlight of the week. TV highlight of the week. Hello.
All right.
Holby City now, and poor old Jack was in a bit of a state. She'd forgotten how to use a phone.
Hello? Hello, is anyone home?
No, it's knock for doors. Yeah, ring for phones. Yeah, well, she was all of a jitter because the microwave exploded.
Can you get out the fire blanket?
What could cause a big explosion like that?
Okay, I can't lie. I put a baked potato in. And you have to watch them because they can explode, but I thought it'd be fine for 10 minutes, so I turned it up to high.
Yeah, you do have to be careful with those jacket potatoes because they're liable to explode. Oh, thank you. Elsewhere on Holby, there was... Jacket potato! Everybody get down! seems it was a false alarm. Which brings me to freaky eaters, those nutty noshers who don't eat proper like us. This week, it was the turn of Peter. And what was his food addiction?
There's just one thing that stops him leading a happy life. Pete is addicted to meat.
Meat! And not just any old meat.
Every day I eat gammon.
Gammon!
Sausages.
Sausages!
Bacon.
Bacon!
Beef burgers.
Beefy burgers!
Chicken.
Chicky chick! Why do I do that? So naturally, our food and psychology experts want Pete to eat more fruit and veg. And Natalie is keen to point out the positives of fruit.
The oranges and these things.
Plums.
Plums, oh wow,
yeah.
They're huge.
They're different sizes and colours of plums.
I can certainly vouch for that. But we'll move on. What I like about Freaky Eaters is the little stings they use to break up the show. I particularly liked Mr. Broccoli Carrot Face. Mr. Broccoli Carrot Face is nice. But then last week, they had Crisp Man. I like Crisp Man. And I like Mr. Broccoli Carrot Face. But which is better? There's only one way to find out. See you after the break. Come on, Mr. Broccoli Carrot Face. Welcome back to TV Burp. Randy Skeletons on A Place in the Sun.
And a very...
Sandwich sticks its tongue out on Emmerdale. And Ian Beale gets bad reaction to his pants on Primeval. I was most surprised to see Jane Torville wearing Ian Beale's black pants this week on Dancing on Ice.
Well, sometimes I go out by myself.
Saucy. I think it must have put the other dancers off a bit. I mean, Greg Rudetsky and partner Christina went plumb crazy. Looks like he's building up to something. Calm down, Greg. Calm down. You're not going to fall over. Where did she come from? It's ice dancing, not crazy golf. Linda upset Daniel when, during rehearsal, she must have been hungry or something. She bit him.
But Linda's confidence is further shaken when their run of bad luck continues.
Right on the bum. Thankfully, they managed to get it together for the show. And relax. Here, I learned the sign language for sun on Corrie this week. Yeah, it's this. Yeah, Sean showed me.
Violet! He's not right! He's my son!
Son! Yeah, what you also probably didn't know is that Coronation Street provides a lot of the animal noises for Wild at Heart. If it's an elephant, they get Dev. And if it's a pig, they get Steve. I think Steve must have been Dan Nando's or something, because his breath seemed to really put Liam off. Nando breath. The growing concern for Amy Winehouse finally hit Coronation Street this week.
Amy! 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 Amy, where are you? Amy!
Amy, do you want to go for a kebab?
No.
tried to make her go for a kebab, but she said no, no, no. Well, this week on Life in Cold Blood, David Attenborough was looking at snakes.
Some can flatten their bodies so that they catch the air beneath them and glide.
As a matter of fact, Dave has been trying to get his clips on TV Burp.
We hadn't got the eating shot, but it's a start. And then the camera is set off again by a second chipmunk behaving very strangely. We showed the recording to Harry, and he was fascinated.
Go flatter yourself. Dave then went on to tell us about a snake that ate crabs. Surely for a snake to eat a crab, that must be quite a tricky thing to pull off.
Crabs are not easy to tackle. They're strong, armour-plated, and covered in spines. For a snake to tackle one of these would be like me trying to eat a lobster twice the size of my head with my hands tied behind me.
Yeah, it's quite tricky. Yeah, and for pudding, I've got to get the lid off of Muller Light just using my nose. But the big question for all of us is probably which snakes are harmless and which are deadly poisonous. Well, it's all in the markings.
These two snakes look very, very similar. And they both occur here in the southern United States, so you're quite likely to meet one or the other here. One of them, however, is harmless. It's called a king snake. The other one is a coral snake and highly venomous. One bite, certain death.
Yeah, one's harmless, the other's highly venomous. But which is which? There's only one way to find it. Oh, no, we've already done that. Get it earlier. Well, Dave?
And this one has red and black. So I guess that's a king snake. We'll see.
Dave, we swapped the...
God. Sorry, Dave. Sorry about that, should have told you. Emmerdale now, and Val had a recurrence of her old trouble.
I refuse to step back on that emotional roller coaster for something so silly as a misunderstanding.
Oh, it's a misunderstanding, is it? So, do my ears have cataracts too?
Ear cataracts?
Ear cataracts?
Ear cataracts?
Ear cataracts? Ear cataracts?
Ear cataracts?
Ear cataracts?
Ear cataracts?
Ear cataracts?
Ear cataracts?
Ear cataracts? Ear cataracts?
Ear cataracts? Ear cataracts?
Ear cataracts?
Ear cataracts?
Ear cataracts? Ear cataracts?
Ear cataracts?
Ear cataracts.
Ear cataracts?
Ear cataracts.
Ear cataracts?
Ear cataracts?
Ear cataracts?
Ear cataracts?
Ear cataracts?
Ear cataracts?
Ear cataracts? Ear cataracts?
American Princess now. And this week the wannabe princesses were shown how to paint and sing, just like all the royal princesses. Their tutor is top society painter, apparently, Jeff Stultians, who demonstrates his art by painting a picture of Paulie.
First of all, mix a few colours, which I think I see in Paul's face. If you can spend 5 or 10 minutes just getting a sort of basic pool of colour.
Yeah, I've got the finished article here. There it is. Yeah. Is that one of mine? Next comes the singing. And who do they get to teach them?
May I please introduce you to your singing coach for today, international soprano, Gillian Humphreys.
Never heard of her. Now, be fair, you remember Gillian. She had that big hit with the Pa-oo song.
Pa-oo.
Get the first note now.
Pa-oo song. I'd like to hear a little bit more of that. Well, we can. It's a prestige booking for us, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it's Gillian Pa-oo Humphreys. That's all we've got time for. See you next week. Gillian, what's your favourite internet search engine?
Pa-oo.com.
Well, there's stuff coming up next to make Harry's hair curl as Jeff Goldblum flies in. Girls Aloud perform, and Jane Middlemiss and Christopher Biggins get swinging. It can only be Ant and Dec's Saturday night takeaway next tonight. Or check out the world's craziest police chases over on ITV4.